Hey, welcome to Mooney Reads. My name is Beck, and today I have a library book haul to share with you all. It has been quite a while since I have been to the library because of the pandemic going on, but I was able to go today, fully masked, socially distant, also a little socially awkward because somebody actually tried to start conversation with me, but it's fine. My original intent going in was to get graphic novels for the Graphicathon that's going on in the first week of November. And I did that, but I also got more books because I can't help myself. I found a whole lot that I may consider reading for the Queerlit Readathon. I have a million books that I own that I need to read, but there's the pull of books that seem new and shiny and whatever. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the books that I got today. So I'm going to start off with the books that are not graphic novels that I got, and then I'll go more into the graphic novels. So first, I got Real Life by Brandon Taylor. This is about a queer black man who is kind of trying to navigate friendship and navigate like homophobia and stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken. I've heard a lot of people talk about this book, but I'm not 100% sure what the plot is. I know that it's very character driven and very emotional, so it seems like something that I would like. Next, I have The Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is a kind of post-apocalyptic novel, and it focuses on this person who's trying to find these missing girls or children. She's looking for a missing girl, and it seems like there are probably other people who go missing as well. I've heard really great things about this from Brody over at Ed2 Brody. The Indigathon is in November, so this is also apt for that. On top of it just sounding like an interesting book in general. Then next I have Say It Loud, Great Speeches on Civil Rights and African American Identity. And, you know, I think the title kind of says it all. It's just an anthology of different speeches. It looks at people starting in like the 50s or 60s and goes all the way until modern day. There are speeches by Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Shirley Chisholm, Angela Davis, Condoleezza Rice, Michael Eric Dyson, Barack Obama. They list a lot of people on the back, but it doesn't seem too big. This just looks like a good window into certain aspects of like the civil rights movement, and it could be an interesting way to find other people that I haven't heard of yet that I might want to read more into. Now I can actually talk about the graphic novels that I got. I went in with a list of ones that I was hoping to find and didn't find any that were on the list, although thankfully all of those ones were on Hoopla, which I don't mind reading stuff off of Hoopla, but it is very like limited in that I can't, just borrow a bunch of stuff. So I was hoping to find some of them in physical copies because of that, and just because I prefer reading physical books. Now, the vast majority of the graphic novels that I ended up getting were nonfiction, which was not intentional, but I guess is good since it's Nonfiction November. So I'll go ahead and talk about the nonfiction ones first, and then I'll talk about the one fictional one at the end. So first I have My Solo Exchange Diary Volume 2. I read My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness and My Solo Exchange Diary Volume 1 in January. And I really, really loved My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. I actually went ahead and got my own copy after having borrowed it for my first read-through from the library. It's actually on my favorite shelf behind me. I wasn't as super into My Solo Exchange Diary Volume 1. It's a lot more like short entries, and there wasn't as much of a cohesive one narrative throughout the whole thing, other than like, this is her life. And I guess there's a continuous narrative in that sense, but there wasn't, it didn't seem to have a whole story with it in the same way that My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness did. It was still good though, and I would still recommend it. My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness just like blew me away, so having My Solo Exchange Diary be only okay was a little bit more underwhelming. But regardless, I'm going to read My Solo Exchange Diary Volume 2. Nagata Kabi is actually coming out with another book, or recently came out with it. I'll have to look into that date. But I do want to read it and like kind of continue on with her books, and that one focuses specifically on her experience with the alcoholism. So there's that to look forward to. But first I've got to read this. The next nonfiction graphic novel that I have is Mouse Volume 2, and this details the author's father's experience being Jewish in Europe during World War II. It seems like it might be fiction if you just looked at it, just because it is framed with like mice. But from what I can tell, this is all based off of true events. So this talks about his father's experience, and then also the author's kind of relationship with his father as well. Then the final nonfiction graphic novel that I have is Queer: A Graphic History. This is one that I've been wanting to get to for a while because it looks interesting. It's definitely right up my alley. It's gay history, it's graphic nonfiction, so I'm hoping that it's going to be a good time. The final graphic novel that I have is a work of fiction, and that is The Pervert by Remy Boydell and Michelle Perez. And this looks at basically the life of this trans woman who is also a sex worker. I'm not super sure what else goes on so far as plot goes, but it's been recommended to me by a friend, so I thought I would check it out. So this is what I got from the library. This is just some of the stuff that I plan on working on during the first couple weeks of November. In the comments, you can definitely let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye.